Hello and welcome. Yes, today I want to show you how to install applications on session hosts or later on a golden master, which you can then capture and deploy it as session host multiple times, and then including the application. And finally, I can also show you how easy it could be to upgrade existing installation on a golden master or on existing session hosts. Today we will install applications in two different ways. One way is using the Microsoft Package Manager, which is pretty cool because vendors are providing installation scripts or methods to unintendedly install the application. And let me first start with this part. So in Hydra you can create scripts and you can create script collections. And what we want to do is to create a script collection which contains different applications from the Microsoft Package Manager, aka Winget. So let us go to the collections. Let us create a new collection so that we can modify it. I take the first one. It's copied and you will find it at the bottom of the list. I will give it a good name. Install Package Manager apps. And then with this little icon on the right side, this little info icon, you can expand the collection. So let me redo the same naming in the description. And then we can select different task. Script is not what we want to do right now. I want to scroll down to find the items starting with PM, and PM stands for Package Manager. So we have one item that can install the application with the Package Manager, and the other one, that is what we can later use to upgrade existing application on a virtual machine. But let us first install the application. Install apps. And after that, you can click on this little, this is a paper plane, to open the box showing the Package Manager apps. So please make sure that you know what you're doing, that you try to install applications from an external repository, and that you have also read the terms and conditions and that you are fine with them. So here are a lot of applications in. Let us start typing then. What should we start with? Maybe 7-zip. 7-zip as an application. That is what I want to have. Then maybe FileZilla. File. Oh, that is not in. Then let me search for another one. What could be a good application? Paint.net. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, and don't forget to install Notepad++ and other application here. Thousands of application in. So let me click on OK. So then we have the list ready, and I can store the collection to the database clicking on the little disk icon. Save. So that could now be used to install the application on existing session host, or that is what we're doing later to prepare a golden master and installing this selected application on the master. So let me confirm 7-zip, Paint.net and Notepad++. And then we can go to the dashboard. We can go to a host pool. I go for my VDI host pool, so single user in this case. So here we go. Let me select one of the session hosts and let me go to the burger menu here on the right side and click on this paper plane. That is to start a script or a script collection. So let us search the collection. First, we can see the scripts, and after that, the collection. Install Package Manager apps. So select it, click on OK. And the installation starts. So I guess it will take a few minutes. And yes, for sure, you can select multiple session hosts and install the application directly in parallel to all of the selected session hosts. So that looks good. We can see Samsep Notepad++ are installed, but we had an issue installing paint.net. Yeah, that's the bad side of the thing. Not each application can be installed. There is sometimes a reason, for example, if you're not able to install an application in the user context, while this happens all in the system context. So there are a few limitations about that. Okay, let us try to log in and see and check if the applications are installed as expected. So 7-zip is installed. That is great. And also Notepad++. Yeah, that works. Works as expected. Okay, let me close this. Yeah, mostly you have the challenge to install applications which are maybe not part of a repository, what we can use like the package manager, aka Winget here in this case. And maybe you are not, or you not have access to Intune or something like that. Then we can do it in another way. So what I prepared, let me go first to a virtual machine. I prepared a share on a file server, in this case an Azure file storage account, and I created the share called apps to install. That contains folders with application sources. For example, in the folder WVDAdmin, there is the WVDAdmin MSI to install. Then we have here some applications built by the PowerShell deployment toolkit. If you don't know it, please check it out. That is pretty cool to install application and also to include scripts so that you can create custom shortcuts, do some work in the registry and the file system in a pretty easy way. And that is all in the PS1 file in. And what we need later is running this application, deploy application.exe, with the parameter install. And that would install the application. Same for DPMA and also Acrobat Reader. At the end, that is a silent installation of Acrobat Reader, but also built with the PowerShell deployment toolkit. So that looks in the following way. What we need the path, the full UNC path for the application, and we can copy this. And we also need the application itself. Maybe it's easier to press the Shift key and then the right mouse, and then we can copy directly the path to this executable in this case. And let me show it, how it looks like. That is the full path to the application. And what we need later to install is to put an install behind. But let us do this a little bit easier. I prepared a script, or that is more a script framework, what you can use with WVDAdmin or with Hydra in this case. And let me go back. Let me go to the scripts and collection, and first to the scripts. I prepared them already. They are starting with app installer, for example here Acrobat Reader. Important is that if we create the script, that we tick the service account checkbox. Every time if you're using an Azure file and you need a kind of service account to authenticate to the file services. If you're going with a normal Windows file server, then that is not needed, while the system itself, the computer, can authenticate to a share. But in my case, I'm using an Azure storage account with file shares comparable to FSLogix, and I will use later a service account that is a user who can access the share and can read the files, the sources to install the application. But that is for later. So the script or the script framework is pretty simple. We only need to change the first 3 parts. Give it a name, in this case Acrobat Reader. The variable installer, that is what we need to put our path in, including the application itself. So storage account, share, folder, and the application, deploy application. And in this case, while this comes from PowerShell Deployment Toolkit, we need install as parameter. And that is all what we need. The rest is then done by the script. That is, the first part is to access the the storage account, in my case with a system account, and later to attach the folder to the local machine, and then execute, depending on what you want to deploy, the executable, a script, or an MSI. So, but that is all. Then we can save it, and I link the script in the comment box below. We save it, and that is fine. And I have some other application like WVDAdmin that is a bit different. It starts with the same. I give it a name. I copy the path, in this case to the MSI file, and it doesn't need any parameters. And in this case, the script will install the MSI directly. So if you have done this, we can run script by script on session host, or that is what I have prepared. I created a collection. A collection is a number of scripts or a number of different tasks, like we have seen with a package manager. And in this case, I prepared the collection install packet manager. Let me extend it. Well, that's not true. That is what we have built before. That was installing the application from the packet manager. I think maybe it's a good idea to also use this. So let me add a next step. Yes, I want to run now a script, and then I can use the script I have prepared to install my application. App installer Acrobat Reader. Then app installer remote desktop client. App installer DPMA. And finally, app installer WVDAdmin. The good thing is you could also add another step to reboot the virtual machine if that is needed. And you can control in what application needs to be installed first if an application depends on another application. So let me click on save. Go back to the host pools, and I want to run it on the same host pool. But before, I will show what I mean with service account. So if I click on the burger menu, I can see in the base settings that I could optionally configure a service account. And that is what I want to do. Give me a second. So I enter a service account that is a user, in this case synchronized from an Active Directory, and I put in the password. Service account can be used by Hydra in different ways, for example to delete an FSLogix profile if something is going wrong and you want to do that instead of maybe having the time to figure out the root cause. So click on save. And after that, the service account is used to run the scripts we have prepared. That is important in my case to access the server, the storage account. So let me go back into the host pool. Let me run it on the same, or maybe for so that we can see that it works for different. on 2 session hosts. Burger menu, paper plane, and then we select the same collection now with the packet manager application and also our application on the file share. Click OK, and then let us wait. So that looks good. It took a little bit longer because it installs all of the 4 applications in a row. Give it a second to update. Yeah, let us check. Remote desktop, perfect. DPMA, WVDAdmin, all installed, and also Acrobat Reader. Yeah, that is fine. So that is a way to install application on existing host. That is what you usually could do for VDI, single user virtual machine, or maybe then more based on a schedule on a multi-session host. But let me first show how I work with updating applications and also the operating system. Let me go back to the collections. I have different collections. One collection I often use is the collection to install the Windows updates. So let me try to find it. Install OS install Windows update was shut down. Let me open this collection and then you can see what happens. If you apply this collection to a session host or to multiple, the host goes through the different steps. First, it switches on the drain mode, log off users if users are connected. Usually I wouldn't run this on host with users, but only to make sure. Would start the VM if the VM is not started, important for a schedule. Then run the script, in this case install the Windows updates, do a reboot to apply the Windows updates, and after that deallocate the virtual machine and go out of the drain mode. So what we also can add here, we can add a next step. Let me check where the good point, maybe directly after starting. Click on plus. And in this case, I select PM for Package Manager and now Update Apps. And that is pretty interesting. The Package Manager would try to update all existing apps on the virtual machine, on the session hosts, but not only this apps, what was installed by the Packet Manager, also other apps which can be updated by the Packet Manager, but was installed in another way. That is pretty cool to update with this collection all of your applications, or mostly all of your application. Please check if that works as expected, and also do the Windows update. So let me click on Save. I'm going to throw two time, and that would work in the same way. We can go to a host pool, select session host, and run this collection. Or in my case, I can show you how I do that here in this environment. That is my host pool called Design. And I have a script schedule that can be used to apply scripts or the schedule based on the time to the session host. So, and that is still here. OS install Windows update was shut down. I want to run it on all session hosts, 10 at the same time, if there are more in, and I want to do that every Sunday at midnight or 0 o'clock in the morning. I guess that is the correct time. And with this configuration, I run Windows updates and update the application on all of my hosts in the complete host pool. So that is not so easy to show because we have to wait for that, or we can do it for a test directly from here. Go into the host pool and we can run it in the same way as we have run the other collection before. Burger menu, paper plane, select the collection, not the script. Here are the collections. OS install Windows update was shut down. And run it. And that will take much longer because there's much more to do, updating the application and also running Windows Update. And that could, depends on the current patch state, could take a while. We will see. So, okay, we can see some applications were updated. If you want to see what was updated in specific, then check the log file on the virtual machine. In my case, I'm pretty sure that this was Office 365 what was forced to update. Okay, let the script run to the end. Let us not wait for the Windows update. So let me show you how you could automatically deploy applications on demand. So you can do this directly after you have rolled out a new virtual machine or a new session host based on an image. Let me go to the configuration of the host pool. And in new session host rollout, you can find a list box. And the list box is to select a script or a script collection, which should be run directly after the rollout of a new virtual machine of a new session host. So that is here, run script or script collection after the deployment. And here you can find exactly the same scripts and collections. That is one way. What I personally prefer is to do it directly, the deployment on the Golden Master before capturing an image. And that is one of my favorite parts, working with Golden Master and images. And the image builder, you can select create an image. And let me select a tenant and one of my Golden Masters, WVD Basic 20, this one for example. That is one of my Golden Master I often use to install application, update the operating system, and then grab an image. And the cool thing about Hydra and also WVDAdmin is that you can easily capture an image without destroying the Golden Master. While the sysprep part that runs later during the process of creating an image completely automatically on a copy of the virtual machine. The Golden Master itself stays untouched, except if you want to install application first or to run Windows Update first. That is also what we can do. For this, let me first select a target resource group for our image, WVD templates, and here is the same drop-down list for our scripts and collections. And what we could do here as well is select install packet manager apps. We have to enter the service account. In this case, while I'm also installing application from the file shares, if you go only with the packet manager, then this is not needed. So, and then we can click create image, and this will take a while. It first install the application on the Golden Master on the virtual machine called WVD Basic 20, and then creates a copy and makes an image from this virtual machine. So I think that will work unintendedly as well. And later, if I deploy a new session host based on that image, it includes all the application. And what I also would recommend is not only installing the application, you can also use the collection with Windows updates, which also includes updating the application. That would be fine if all applications are installed. With this collection, you can update your Golden Master and update the application before taking the image. And I think that is what I wanted to show you today. Please let me know if you have questions. I would be happy to help. Bye.